Hi guys, I'm a little behind track this evening, so I just said I'd get a quick one in out there. Ringing people back about our Valentine's competition. Very happy that people are interested in it, and of course, few better ways to start off getting ready for the summer than doing it now. Not important if you didn't start in January. You can still start now. As they always say, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time is now. So, what I was going to talk about this evening is how much do you really need to eat? It's a little thing that I see a lot that people have in their day-to-day life. It's just the pattern of eating might not work for your modern life. Most people are getting up, they're having a good breakfast, they're having something tea, they're having a big sandwich and a couple of other little bits at lunchtime, they're having a big dinner in the evening. The 3 square meals, that's what we've always heard when we've been growing up. But there's something you need to consider. That 3 square meals philosophy comes from a different time. That comes from 50 or 100 years ago. 3 squares goes back to the 1900s. Those people had arduous jobs. We all know that our great-grandfather was out in the field pulling and dragging, or was in a factory doing difficult work. And in comparison, what are we doing now? We're sitting at a desk. We're sitting at a workstation. We're screwing little things into a part as opposed to dragging a piece of steel across a yard or doing hard arduous welding all day long. We don't have these physical jobs in our society anymore, and yet we eat in the same way, if not more, because the other thing to consider is the food back then, they didn't have as much sugar and fats and tasty things. Okay, they had fats. They didn't eat as many of them. Back 50 years ago, a Coke was a treat you had maybe once a week. Back 50 years ago, I know my grandmother used to cycle from Kiltulla into Galway. That was a normal thing back then. When was the last time you took a cycle of 20 miles once a week for the crack in your business clothes? Doesn't really happen, and that's when those people ate out. Is on that one exception when they had cycled half the bloody day. So if you're sitting in an office all day, do you really need to be eating what is effectively 2 dinners? Because I'll tell you something as well. If you're eating that sandwich and you go out, you've 2 slices of bread that are 100 calories each. That's 200 calories in bread. You probably have a bit of chicken that's worth another 150 calories. 100 calories. And then you have some mayonnaise or some butter or some salad dressing, and all that stuff adds up. You have a bit of soup on the side, and all of a sudden your lunch is 600 calories. That's a full dinner. That's a decent sized dinner. There's a lot of calories in that. What I would suggest a lot of people need to be doing is maybe having a light breakfast and a light lunch, and then a normal sized dinner. And if you find that you're sneaking a lot of sugary stuff in the evening, if you find that's when you're crashing a lot, that's your body telling you, I don't have enough energy, or I think I don't have enough energy. And there's 2 main reasons for that. Reason number 1 is maybe you're not eating enough. And that's fair enough. You might need discipline on that too, because keep in mind, if you're overweight, your body will tell you to eat the amount to keep that weight. That mightn't be what you want. And number 2, if you are not sleeping well enough, your body will try to compensate with the easiest energy source it can find, which is sugar. So one thing you might always find that we notice with a lot of people is they have a bad night, they don't sleep well, and they're eating more sugary stuff in the evening. But maybe a good exercise to do this week is take a food log. Get a A4 piece of paper. This is like where we start number 1 with everyone who comes in here, and write down everything that passes through your lips for 3 days on the trot. And there's a reason why Weight Watchers do this. There's a reason why Slimming World does this. There's a reason why nearly every gym will do this. Because the most important thing is actually understanding what you're eating. And as I said, maybe you don't need to be eating that much. But if you're eating a good sized breakfast and a big lunch and a big dinner and stuff afterwards, and you're unhappy with your shape, there's something wrong there. You're eating too much. You need to figure out what you want to cut. Maybe you don't want to eat dinner in the evening and you want to eat dinner with your co-workers during the day. That's fine. But it's a choice you need to make. If you want to stay the same shape, or if you want to get a little, bring it back a little bit. And if you want to stay the way you are, that's fine. This video is not for you. But if you want to change, you need to change something. Okay? So, that's something you could try next week, guys. Do a little food log. See how much you're eating. Do you think that you need to eat that much? And the reality is, if you're heavier than you'd like to be, you are eating too much. And you might learn a lot from it, because when you start writing this stuff down, guess what? You're going to think about it. And thinking is what's going to help in this particular exercise. Lack of thinking is what's holding you back. So, take care. We'll talk again next week, guys. Sorry for the short one. I'm running around trying to catch up with stuff today. Best of luck.